In this video lecture, we will look at the resolution and composition sizes of 3 different drawings and discuss the usage of each file. Let's start with the PSD working file of this presentation. As you can see here from the layer panel, a working file in Photoshop like this has many layers. Make sure and save your PSD working file one more time if you haven't recently. Next, go to the Layer Panel Flyout menu and select Flatten Image. If there are turned off layers, you will get this warning. Is it okay to discard hidden layers? I'm going to hit OK because I have nothing missing in this presentation file. Once you flatten all the layers, you have just one single background layer. So all the layers have been integrated and compressed into one. From here, go to the Image pull-down menu to Image Size. First thing to do is check for the resolution. You need to have 300 pixels per inch. This is important. Next, check the width and the height of the document. This document is 18 inches wide by 14 inches tall. This is perfect if you need to plot a large-scale presentation into a poster, for example. But for a digital presentation, this is much too large. So what I'm going to do next is make the overall size of the presentation much more friendly for a computer. I'm going to leave the resolution at 300, but I'm going to make the width between 6 and 8 inches wide, which is still a rather large image for a computer monitor and extremely large for a handheld device. It is now time to save this smaller sized high resolution file. I'm going to save it as Nantucket Mood Board Small and change the working type file from a PSD to a compressed file type, a JPEG. For the JPEG quality, pick between 6 and 12. Once you've done that, you have a copy of your working file, which is compressed but maintains a very high resolution at 300 pixels per inch. Next, I'll demonstrate to you both copies of the files. First, I'll show you the compressed high-quality JPEG file. Here's the JPEG file. It's compressed with only one background layer, but as you can see, the resolution is quite high. Let's check on our working file and make sure that all the working file layers have been maintained. So the working file is intact. This is what you want it to look like. Let's check the image size and make sure that that's still okay. You still have an image size for the working drawing that could be plotted if you needed a large printed presentation. Okay, so where we left off was that we had 2 different file types. This file is a small sized copy of our working file. So it's a small presentation at a high resolution. So you could still print this if you wanted, because the resolution would be very good, but you would have to print it at the scale that it actually exists at. So this one is 6 inches wide by 4.667 inches high. So if you wanted it to still look crisp and clean, as long as you printed it this size, you'd be fine. All right, and the reason for that is the resolution is at a printing resolution of 300 pixels per inch. So 300 is what you need to make a print look crisp and clean, okay? But you have to pay attention to the actual file size. Now, let's hop over to our working drawing. If you wanted to print a poster size, if you wanted to plot this on poster paper, then you could save a high resolution, large compressed file here. That's 18 inches wide by 14 inches tall, and that would be great. Now, this type of file at this size is not a good file for transmitting over the internet or posting on the internet. And the reason for this is it is too large and the resolution is too high for the internet to host it adequately. All right, so what size does a file need to be posted to the internet? Well, there are two things that need to happen. First of all, you cannot have all of these layers. So a file that's posted to the internet needs to be compressed. Okay, so the first thing that I would probably do from the working file is compress it. Right? I would also make it smaller. 18 inches is much, much too big for a handheld device or to be hosted on a website. Lucky for us, we already have a compressed file over here. Okay, however, the resolution for this file is much too large. So if I go to image size, this resolution at 300 pixels per inch is a printing resolution. The resolution for the internet is 72 pixels per inch, 72. I'm going to make this actual size 0 to 6, measuring with my ruler up here across the top of my screen. Okay, so let's save this as, we're going to save it apart from my other file. I'm going to call this a low resolution small file. That describes everything about this. Okay, so I'm going to save this as low resolution small, and the quality will be between 6 and 12 per usual. Hit OK. Let's compare that to the compressed file type that's just small but with a high resolution. Let's see this, Controller Command 0, that shows full size. So looking across the top of my screen at the ruler, 6 inches wide by 4.67 inches tall. All right, so this is just the small file type, but with the high resolution. Okay, let's hop over and compare that to the same size board, but with the low resolution. That's 72. At 72 inches, 72 pixels per inch, excuse me, this is not going to look too bad on the internet because it's going to be small. And you're going to be able to see it right away. If you load this one to an internet website, it's going to look nice, but it's going to take a little bit for it to load. You've seen that happen with images where they have to actually load themselves up on the screen. This one's going to appear right on the screen. The resolution might be a little bit lower. The beauty is no one's going to want to steal this example or this file for their portfolio because it's too pixelated, whereas this one looks a little bit more attractive. And then this one is your working file, and again, we just keep this file in case you need to make any modifications to the presentation or if you need to make a large scale print. I hope that helps you understand the differences between a working file, which is not compressed and it's high resolution, versus a compressed JPEG that is a high resolution, versus a compressed file, which is a low resolution.